Right.
long as
Yeah, exactly.
The inevitable though, right? So find your seats or your laying down position, whatever works. And you might be a little chilly to start. I apologize for that. We'll build a little inner furnace today. Feeling what is going on with you at this particular moment and knowing that at the end of practice, it's going to shift. Since we're all seated, shift a little bit forward and a little bit back in your pelvis. I'm just feeling the whole bowl shape. But also feeling how that changes the amount of tension, the amount of reach through the rest of your spine. And then finding that kind of sweet spot in the middle. Start to lean a little bit right and a little bit left. And if you're in a position to do so, can you feel the weight in your sit bones shifting right to left? And then can you find the place where your sit bones share weight as equally as you can? Can you arrive right in the balanced center with your pelvis? Now, keeping your pelvis, well, it can tuck a little bit actually. Start to round just through your lower back and arch through your lower back. So you're intentionally bringing it up a bit. It's not primarily your pelvis moving, but rather the lumbar spine. And sometimes there's some soreness in there. Just let it be part of the whole. And then finding your center there, I want you to imagine that your lower back is arcing a little bit right and a little bit left. But that motion is kind of initiating from there. And you're not looking for the biggest motion. Now bringing that to center, initiate the motion through your mid back. So the lumbar, so the thoracic region of your spine, the spot with your ribs going a little forward and a little back. We all have a tendency to kind of drive motion through the spine through one region. That's our preference. And right now we're just sussing out like which part of your spine is moving with ease, which one might be restricted. And then that same side to side, but it's from a place that's higher. And then finding neutral through their head. And maybe you don't want to move your head. Maybe it rocks your world right now. And don't do it or move really small. I'm not speaking to you directly. It's fine. And then leaning a little bit right, a little bit left. And you might find like, oh, I want to keep my head in this direction for a minute and stretch it. That's okay. Cooler weather, slightly stiffer neck in the morning. I'm sleeping so amazingly well in the same position. Now find center. Anchoring down through the sit bones. Maybe you feel a little bit more ease across your spine now. Start to bring yourself either towards a child's pose or towards a downward facing dog. Which one fits for you? And feel almost like imagining that your breath bathes your spine, bathes the bones. Kind of soaking them in all that they need in terms of a gentle flow, water moving through. And also the amount of space it needs. Start to move from here, whether it's table back towards child's or planked dog, maybe a whole back bend and drawing back. I want you to feel each section of the spine integrating into the whole now. A wave of motion. Few more breath cycles here. Enjoying linking your breath to your movement. And then find a place where you can transition from to set your right foot between your hands. Lower your back knee down. Anjaneyasana. Bring your hands to your thigh at first today and push down. You can even interlace your hands at the top of that thigh. And when you press down, feel that allows you to find almost a tiny bit of traction through the rest of your spine. You can start to shift the pelvis a bit forward and a bit back. Sure. And then also feel like your shoulders, when you shift forward, can open up a little bit there. See if you can soften your foot as best you can. And then find your way into the shape, reaching the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Maybe you find a nice focal point, you hold your gaze. If you reach through the arms a bit more, does your spine feel longer? Exhale, release the hands down. Now start to move around from here, pressing forward, pressing back. Say good morning to your hamstrings and their relationship to your spine. Notice if the upper back, neck, and shoulders gets kind of lobbed off in terms of connection, or if that motion can go all the way through your upper back as well. And then draw your way back. Child's pose again or downward facing dog. You choose what works. Sitting on your heels also works. And feel the connection, the tactile awareness of pushing through the hands. Feeling the length of your arm bones, tracing that up to the sides of the waist and back into the hips. Bring your your left foot forward between your hands, lower the back knee. You can interlace your hands on that thigh. And really push down. Use this as a way too to help yourself feel more grounded through the left side and the left leg. And then perhaps start to shift a bit forward and a bit back, just a little bit. When you're doing this, I want you to feel like your pelvis really rides right in the middle. And you can feel almost like there's this nice little track that supports your pelvis. And sometimes you feel it list away from that, right? You can feel that it becomes like almost pelvis dominant. You twist or you tip. And find your way into Anjaneyasana, low lunge, sweeping the arms up as you're ready. And by shifting into the front foot just a little bit more, can you feel the arc that comes up your right side all the way up through the center of your skull? And that gentle reach through the arms reaches up through the fascia on the sides of the waist, helps you get longer as the sun comes out. Release your hands down and start to move into your hamstrings lovingly, shifting it back, maybe front and side and whatever you need. Maybe you're the type of person who's like, I love hamstring stretching and I go right into it. And then bring yourself back, downward facing dog or child's pose once more. Space there, deep breath in. Maybe it's a big sigh out as you exhale. Feel how your hands connect, press down to draw you back. And slowly walk your way forward to the front of your mat. You can take your feet almost mat distance apart if you'd like to. Maybe you grab hold of your opposite elbows. And again, feeling into the length through your spine. Maybe you let your head go a little bit more, or even kind of nod yes a couple of times to feel its weight. But then do take a moment to experience stillness in the shape. Releasing the hands down. A nice bend to the knees. Roll yourself up through the spine. And standing at the front of your mat now. Roll to the ball of your right foot. And then I want you to kind of smush around through your foot. Maybe it circles all the way around. Maybe your foot doesn't want to do that. It's a nice symphony of cracks. Go in both directions. Can your foot be supple? And then come up onto the metatarsal, the ball of the foot, and just bend both of your knees and kind of pulse into the ball of the foot. Notice if you're rocking your weight over towards the pinky side or the big toe. You can find the center as best you can. I know arthritis in toes is real. Got it. Bring it up. Just feel the difference. How that goes all the way up the leg. And do the second side. Maybe it can roll around a bit. Just making sure you periodically switch directions. And then coming to the center with it, roll to the ball of the foot. And then a soft bend. You can feel that kind of stretch over the metatarsals into your arch. Or you fall over, you know. And then stand Tadasana. Now move that motion up. If you can, you're welcome to keep your toe on the ground. You're welcome to hold a wall. Start to move your right hip around. And it can go in almost figure 8 motions. It might go high, it might not. See, I feel like there's shift there. And then put the foot down and see how that goes up into the low back, into the waist a bit. Left. And pick it up. Maybe you can feel like you're settling your right foot as best you can as you're moving through the left hip. What directions can you go comfortably? Hitting a shelf behind you. Stand. Spin your palms forward. Maybe close your eyes for a moment here. Feel that you plant yourself down to lift yourself up. Sweep your arms all the way up, open the eyes. Pause for a moment here, root down through the feet, lift up through the sides of the rib cage and down through the sides of the pelvis. Your gaze could go up for a moment, maybe bring the palms together. And then exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, lengthen out through the spine. Exhale, step your left leg back. Come up into your crescent, your high lunge here. Pause for a moment. You can pulse it for a second if you want to. You can stay perfectly still. Maybe you relax the jaw. And then start to reach into your twist. Your left fingertips come down to the ground or the inside of that right foot. Block. And then see if you can press down through the left hand, connecting you to lift up, to rotate your shoulders a little bit more. Press through the back heel. Maybe, if you're comfortable with it, you turn your gaze a little bit up. Exhale, release the hand down, pivot around to the long edge of your mat, and walk your hands forward. Really, really long downward facing dog. With your hands forward and the hands nicely planted, bend your knees a lot for a moment here. See how long you can make the waist be. Yeah, you might instinctively shift a little bit side to side when you do that. You might sigh because it gets some good kinks out. And walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Pivot all the way around to the front of the mat again. Set your left knee down. And then bring your right arm, reach it up and back around towards your back leg. Maybe you hold the foot. Maybe it's way too early in practice. We will revisit this shape. Notice across your chest and shoulders. Could you open it up? And to open that up, you might come up higher. Yeah, you can shift your pelvis forward a little bit if you want to. Great. Exhale, release it. Bring the hands down. Step your way back. Downward facing dog or child's pose. Nice deep breath in there. Maybe a sigh out. Inhale, roll yourself forward. And gently lower all the way down. Set the tops of the feet down. You can take a moment for yourself, hands underneath your forehead. And for a moment, just feel energetically the lengthening back through the spine, divide the spine to make your legs go into your feet. Now start to find a gentle back bend flow. Your hands can come beside the shoulders. You can lift lower, move it from side to side. What wakes up this part of your body for you this morning? I like this idea that coming back to practice, it actually takes your fibroblasts, these sticky type of cells, and it slides them around so they don't kind of glob up and then make you feel like you get stuck. And sometimes that process takes longer than others. One more time, maybe you lift up through the center here. And then when you exhale, take it back, downward facing dog or child's pose. Space for a nice deep breath in. Feel almost a release for the very crown of your head as you breathe out. Walk your way forward to the front of your mat. You can take an inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, sweep yourself all the way up, reach over Urdhva Hastasana and hands to your heart. Stand on your left leg, draw your right leg up. explore that motion again, but this time maybe your body follows it a little bit. Maybe you go a little forward, a little back. Maybe you go keep it small. It's okay. But how much can you take the center of gravity that maybe started this big? Now maybe it starts to expand out a bit. And some days it just doesn't, and that's okay. And as you gently set your right foot down, step into chair pose. You can keep your feet hip bone distance apart. Drawing the hip creases back, lengthening forward through the spine. Stand yourself back up again. Your left leg lifts up and you explore. What is your comfortable range of motion in a sense that you can contain your center of gravity? And our center of gravity can shift, right? Wherever it needs to balance us. And then gently bring that back to center again. Step into Utkatasana. Extend through the arms, draw back through the hips. Exhale, fold yourself forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step your right leg back. Sweep yourself into your crescent lunge. Come up. Ground into it, reach up through the arms. Maybe you feel like you got these little roots spreading down through your feet. Do you ever peel like moss off of a log or something and it has just these little tiny roots? Imagine that, your foot's got little tiny roots. Gently place your right hand down inside of the left foot, reaching up through your left arm. Great. So your pelvis is being supported from the press in your legs and the reach through your spine. If you feel a heaviness in your pelvis, energize your legs. Exhale, release the hand, pivot around to the long edge of the mat. And again, you can walk your hands forward. If there's a different position that serves you better, take it. Maybe you're bending your knees and shifting a little bit side to side, or feeling that length through your back. With sunlight perfectly on your mat. Walk your hands back in, pivot around to the front of your mat and set the back knee down. Your left arm circles around. Maybe grab your back foot, maybe not. And again, that energetic sensation, bring it all the way in across the shoulders and your chest. Notice if the right shoulder rolls in on you. If you can open it back, yeah. And maybe you take your chest up and your head slightly back. Exhale, release it down. Step your way back, downward facing dog. Child's pose. Roll yourself forward to table or plank. Lower all the way down. One more version of a back bend flow for you. Maybe you're working straight up strength and it's Shalabhasana, locust pose. Yeah, maybe it's more restorative. You're in Sphinx. Anywhere in between is perfectly fine. Do feel like your breath is big, deliberate, or intentional, I should say. And then when you're ready to exhale, release it, make your way up and back. Downward dog, child's pose, wherever you need to go. From your down dog or from table, pick up your right foot. Step your right foot forward between your hands, angle the back heel and come up warrior one. Good. Did you just get vaccinated yesterday, Betsy?
I did.
How you feeling? Reach up.
Achy.
Achy. My mother-in-law just got all of them at once. She's like, I don't feel good. Vaccine. Bend your front knee a little bit. I'm like, yeah, that tracks. Lift your chest up. And now tip your way forward, reach the arms back. Maybe you straighten your front leg a little or a lot, and then re-glide it to bend, sweep it back up. Glide between these 2 points. Link your breath to your movement. Exhale, tip forward. Inhale, sweep it up. And maybe as you go, because you're being so deliberate, your breath gets a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper. And your nervous system gets bathed again. The next time you come up, stay up here, spin up onto the ball of the back foot. And then stand on your right leg, hug your left knee into the chest. Maybe it's a sizable hug, maybe not. See if you can draw your torso and your thigh bone a little bit closer towards one another. Relax the jaw. And then cross that leg into a figure 4. Hands together at your heart, Anjali Mudra. And then if you'd like to start to bend your supporting leg or bow forward over it, you can. That one's coming later, but you can do it there too. Great work, everyone. Gently bring yourself up. Step that leg all the way back into a warrior 2. Open the arms. You're at the front of your mat. And then imagine somebody comes by and they've got their hands underneath your arms. And you can press down lightly into that to lift yourself up, just like you'd push down to lift yourself out of a pool. Let your left half of your pelvis rotate a little bit towards the front of your mat, not the back. Reverse your warrior, draw the back arm down the back thigh. Can you feel that go all the way up through the sides of the base of the skull, sides of the neck, base of skull? Cartwheel the hands down, frame the front foot, and sweep it back. Perhaps you do a 3-legged dog there. You reach that right leg up high. And if you want to pivot the thigh, bend the knee, you can. Try to keep lengthening the left side of the waist. And then take what you'd like there. There's a vinyasa, there's a rest. Give it a moment. Deep breath in. Thanks for heating the space without turning the heater on. It's very environmentally friendly. Warrior 1 on the second side. The left leg can lift up. Step it forward, angle the right heel, Virabhadrasana 1. Do you ever watch an animal just lay in the sunlight somewhere in your house? Imagine like you're having that moment. You're like, I'm just gonna stay right here, anchored down into what you're doing, and yet somehow expansive. And tip your way forward, reach the arms back, extending the leg, and then inhale, re-glide, sweep it up. Keep going with that, pressing forward and back, and feeling that you are completely connected through the arms and the legs moving together. And the next time you come up, stay there, spin the back heel up, and then gently transfer the weight onto the left leg, hug your right knee. Push down through that left leg as you draw your right leg up, and you might feel like your spine lengthens a bit more. And rather than counter lever it back, what happens if you come forward just a bit? Yeah. Cross the leg into figure 4. Your hands can be at your heart. And then explore where you are right now. Maybe it tips and you bring the hands down to the ground, to blocks. Maybe you're resting in more of a bent-legged shape. Great. Gently come up. Find the reach. And then step it back, warrior 2. Spread your wings there. So rather than your pelvis being this disconnect part, right? When we try to turn our hips open too far to the side, our pelvis gets stuck, right? Because we're recruiting too much external rotation. If you let the pelvis go with the legs, it's going to turn a little bit towards the front of the mat. And then the spine and the legs can connect more. As you reach your arms out, you can feel the pelvis become supported. So happy that pipe is fixed. Sorry. Reverse the warrior, draw the back arm down, reaching up, bending that front knee just a little bit more. Great. Take your hands down and around, frame the front foot and step your way back. This time, three-legged dog with the left leg. Yep, pivot the thigh, bend the knee. Maybe you start to reach up and over with the foot, but keep reaching your outer right hip up. Great. And then it's your choice if you want to add a vinyasa or take a rest. Go all the way through your chest if you go into your upward facing dogs. And then take it back when you're ready. So lift up and through your right leg. Place the foot forward between the hands. Sweep yourself all the way up. High lunge. Back heel can stay up this time. Like maybe go a little longer in your stance. And start to twist again towards the right. But this time, if you'd like, take Parivriti Parishva Konasana. You might bring the left elbow across to the thigh. Strengthen into your legs, pushing them down so you can feel the spine grow longer. Can you feel the relaxed side of your jaw and a gentle lift up out of the back of your skull up to the crown of the head? Come up and out of the shape. Arms reach up high. Stand onto your right leg, draw the left knee in. And take a little counter twist here. Holding the left leg with your right hand, reach the left arm behind you. Take a twist. And can you go out through that arm? Draw forward through the chest just a little bit. Beautiful work, everyone. Gently as you can, step warrior two. That's a sore arm, huh? And tip your way forward, Parishva Konasana, sorry. Forearm to your thigh, or you can reach it up. Yeah, can you push into that back foot to lengthen the spine? You can let your pelvis go like, yeah. Sometimes our pelvises become these roadblocks and they disconnect us from our legs and our torso. Bring yourself all the way up, reverse your warrior once more. Cartwheel your hands down, frame your front foot. Back heel spins up, set your left knee down. Maybe you find a blanket underneath your knee, and if you don't have one and want one, let me know. Hands to your right thigh. Lifting up through the chest, maybe you shift your torso forward just a bit. Maybe you bend the back leg and you try to reach back without the twist, and you hold your foot. Maybe you don't. That's okay. It's kind of like going fishing. You're like, where are you? And then try to readjust your torso to the front. Maybe both hands reach for that foot. You say, hello, quadricep. I love you. Or you say, hello, knee. I know you're not going to bend like that, but I still love you. Is that outer right hip going up to the side? Yes, stop it. Gently release it down. Oh, take it back. Down dog, vinyasa, rest it. Certain muscles in our body are almost like under a constant firing because we need to not fall down, right? And quadriceps have that little bit of, thank you for not having me fall, but they respond a lot to stretching. Side two. Right leg, left leg steps forward, come up, crescent lunge. So there's this sweet spot, too long of a stance or too narrow of a stance, right? And it has to do with where your spine can rotate to. That's how you kind of figure it out, right? Bringing your hands into your heart as you rotate to the left and place your right elbow down. Sometimes you feel like you have to go down too far, right? And if that's the case, step your back foot a little further behind you. Yeah, sometimes you feel like you're dropped too far, right? And then you need to lift up through the legs or step your stance in. Jordan, you already did that side. Take another moment here, broaden across the chest and shoulders. And then unwind yourself, come out, reach the arms up. Transfer the weight into that left leg, draw your right knee in. Hold on to the leg with your left hand and open your right arm back, twist. Great. Feel that you can soften your thigh bone right in the hip socket so you can lift up, not soften, but deepen it. And then the emphasis can be on the spine, drawing up, lengthening, and twisting. Softly let that leg go, step it way back, open out, warrior two. And grow your way into Parsvakonasana, side angle. Great. So let your pelvis go the way of the leg rotation, in the way of the spine lengthening. Maybe we can move with more ease rather than trying to pin certain areas of our body. Come all the way up, reverse your warrior. Cartwheel the hands down, frame your front foot. Spin the back heel up and then put the back knee gently down. Bring your hands to that thigh. Hello, quadriceps. Shift a little bit forward. I don't know why it's like a menacing relationship for me with my quad. Maybe you bend that back knee. Maybe you hold it, maybe not. This is always an interesting one because if you do get it, all of a sudden the tension like goes to a different part of the body. You have to be like, no, I acknowledge that. All right. Facing the sensation. And then softly let it go. Downward dog, put a vinyasa in. Wherever you need to go. There was this thing going on when I was dancing at my height, I guess. They told us we needed to relax our quads. And then they keep saying, don't use your quads to extend your leg, use your hamstrings, the back of your legs. And then I got really into studying biomechanics. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, right? You can't relax your quads when you're moving your legs. If you do, your knees will fall apart. I proved it. Yeah. Lift up and through your right leg. Step the right foot forward. Sweep yourself up. And your quads are going to work a bit here. And that's okay. Just be like, thanks, quads. I appreciate you. Step your back foot in a little bit. Narrow up your stance. Reach up through the arms. And then draw forward. Maybe you take Parivriti Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. If you'd rather not twist it, you can take Parsvakonasana, folding forward. So rotating towards the right. Yeah. Okay. Deciding on the door. Yeah.
Legs straight.
Legs straight. Yeah. Guess we haven't done revolved triangle pose in a while. People are like, wait, what? Here's this thing go. Anchor down through your feet so you can lift energetically up through the legs and find your spiral. Do you really? Wow. And then gently unwind up and out of it. Reach the arms up towards the sky. Bring your hands to your heart. Stand on your right leg. Draw the left knee up. And take that figure four one more time. Maybe this time you take a twist here. You start to sink the hips back. Maybe your left hand comes to the left foot. Your right hand could come to the sacrum or reach up to the sky.
Interesting.
You're twisting to the right, twisting, twist. And then you notice all sorts of funny tension in your head. Are you okay? Gently unwind it as smoothly as you can. Step your way back into a warrior two. Good. That one hasn't been in circulation for a while. I did. That goes into an arm balance, Ekapada Galavasana, reverse your warrior. Also known as haven't done that in a decade. Straighten your front leg out and soar forward and out, triangle pose. Nah, I've just been home practicing a lot more and it came back. Pelvis again here, let it go the way of the legs a little bit here. So you can extend the spine, reach the arm up. And maybe triangle pose feels like a little gift and you want to hang out here for a second. Bring yourself up, reverse your warrior. Cartwheel your hands down. Spin the back heel up. Now I want you to take your right leg and set the right shin bone down. It's not turning out, it's staying parallel here for a minute. And you might take some blocks here or a block, whatever you have. You're gonna try to lift your chest up. And then you might start to take that right thigh bone, slide it forward and lift your chest up. Maybe it goes further. Maybe your knee is like, no, it doesn't. Can you lift your chest up here? So really this is about your psoas. Yeah, right here, front of the left. You lift your chest up a little bit more. And maybe you feel this arc. Yeah. Build yourself a fort, get out of it if you'd like. And then bring yourself out of the shape. Slide it back, down dog, vinyasa or rest. It's all of the back of the pigeon without the turning out of your leg. Yeah, it takes the SI stuff out of it. Side two. Left leg lifts and steps forward. Come all the way up and step your back foot in. Slightly narrower stance. Push down through that leg to reach up through your right arm. And then draw forward and rotate. And you can even peek back at your back foot. Make sure your heels aren't aligned with each other. So if you step your one foot out a little bit, yeah, give yourself some distance. Yeah. And this is a beautiful pose to stop breathing in. Yeah. Take another deep breath in. And gently bring yourself up, stand onto that left leg, draw your right knee up. Does anyone else find in that pose, you're like, I think I need to hang out here a little bit more. Something's gonna unveil itself that's not where it started. Figure four. Sit the hips back gently. Maybe you take your right hand to the arch of the right foot. Maybe you trust that your torso can rotate. Yeah. Again, it's gotten quiet, so this seems like another place you like to hold your breath. Gently come up, open it out to warrior two. Reverse your warrior. So much space. And then you can straighten the leg and soar your way forward now, triangle pose. And this is a beautiful place where you recognize the quadriceps are not flaccid. They're engaging up a little bit. They're supporting the tracking of your knees. I love that you can hear a train, but really, can anyone picture where the closest train is? Bring your hands down, frame your front foot. Is it close? Shin bone down, right, left shin bone down. Grab blocks if you'd like to. And maybe you start to draw your legs almost like you're doing Hanumanasana, split pose. The front knee comes forward, back leg goes back. But right now, the emphasis is just, could you lift your chest up? And you're not going so far that you're overstretching anything. You're just feeling, it's like this arc shape from the back leg all the way up. I like to put this tiny little sway in it because it helps to acknowledge all the different fibers of the hip flexors.
Talking about the saws, right?
Yeah, the left leg is placed. I'm sorry, was I saying the wrong leg?
No.
I just didn't say. Yeah, don't crunch the lumbar spine. Unless you have a disc, and apparently that's what you do. Just crunch that disc right back in there. Bring yourself out of the shape. It's been studied, should be the correct way of doing it, I'm not making it up. But downward dog, child's pose. They don't say crunch the lumbar spine, they say compress to push the disc. What's that? Yeah. Especially as yogis who have disc herniations that get told to do the McKenzie exercises. You're like, so do the back bending wrong? Yes. Sit it down for a moment. Maybe you're sitting on your heels. Maybe you're in child's pose. We did prep back bending, so we'll do a couple of them. Give yourself a moment. Just breathe. And come up onto your shin bones. Does everybody have one block, right? Yeah. Maybe put a blanket underneath your knees. If you have one and you need it. Block between your hands. Hug the block gently with your hands. And then feel somehow activating through your arms can activate the space between your inner thighs and help you lift there. Reach your arms up. Imagine you're handing somebody a block. They're going to hold the block and lift it up for you, and it's going to lift the rest of you up. Now take that block and gently place it towards the back of your head. Draw the elbows slightly in. And then as you press your head slightly back into the block, can that connect you more towards the lower abdomen? Let you grow up a little bit taller. And maybe it can tip gently back from there. There's that little bit of push of your head back. Maybe you stay completely neutral, and that's cool. I'll take the block, send it up. Bring yourself up. And sit down. You're gonna come up again, and you're gonna take the block in between your inner thighs. Upper inner thighs. Thigh bones are long. Narrow side block. Now reach your arms up. Imagine the block between your hands and the block between your legs. Yes, if you have two blocks, do them both at once. Bend your elbows, goal post your arms. Lift the chest up. Maybe it starts to peel up a little bit more. Maybe your hands come onto the outsides of your hips or pelvis. Maybe you're bendy and you reach back for your heels or your feet. Be nice to yourself. And then gently come up. And then sit back down. Pause for a moment there. There's one more back bend of your choice. I would recommend laying down on your back and doing a bridge with a block. I guess if you're a full wheel person, you can put that in. You're like, I'm really liking camel and I want to do another one. No takers. I like camel too. I think camel addresses a lot of stuff in the cervical region and your neck and balancing strength. That's really uncomfortable because a lot of us have a lot of weakness there, myself included. So what's this last bridge pose or supported bridge feel like? Are your feet planted firmly? You're releasing your shoulders back. And then you can find your way into an inverted shape. If you're on a block and you want to take your legs up, go for it. If you want to move towards legs up the wall or a different inversion, absolutely fine. Should be okay. I'd tap it with your foot first, make sure it's not gonna fall in. You're good. It depends on the season, Jordan. Feel the whole length of your legs. Feel the space around your legs. Space around your toes. Connecting to that area just outside the body. Has everyone ever had that experience where you're in slightly cold water and you're just not moving? And then you go to move an arm or a leg, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, it's so much colder again. That area just outside of the body that you've touched into. Experience that space. Almost like it comes awake, like you're in cold water and you just pushed into that space a little bit to get that sensation. Taking 2 more breaths there. Gently start to bring it back down. Maybe you rest there. Maybe you come into constructive rest right away. I always wonder, why is it called constructive rest?
But you're still alive.
You can take a gentle rock from side to side. This time, rather than segmenting everything off, like we did at the beginning of practice, I want you to feel how everything falls together. And perhaps you take the knees and hug them into the chest. Maybe you've gone directly to Shavasana. That's okay too. And feel what your low back does if you have your knees into your chest and you're breathing deeply. You can have the moment. Most of you are in your own direction now, which is great. If you want to take a twist, a happy baby pose, going right to Shavasana. It's all okay. You pick. a nice deep breath in. Let it go. And extend out the fingers and the toes. And gently roll and rest on your side. Come up as you're ready. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be parted from freedom's true joy. May all beings dwell in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Om. Om. Thank you all so much for joining me and joining each other today and sharing your practices. Namaste. Enjoy your lovely last weekend in September. Thank you.